Hey, what's going on, guys? The concept of the emotional bank account has been talked about by several authors, and this author talks about it as well. A quick summary, according to this author, the emotional bank account refers to the willingness of your partner to be open to what you have to say and their attitude towards you. When your emotional bank account with your partner is low, then they usually get defensive whenever you try and bring things up to them. And in general, they may not act very lovingly. When the bank account is high, the opposite happens. They are more open to what you have to say, and they act more lovingly. There are things we can do to increase our spouse's emotional bank account. Of course, we are not 100% responsible for the way our spouse behaves. However, we are married to them, and the things that we do influence their behavior. So let's concentrate on what we can do to improve our marriages. So let's go through one by one. And these are things that permeate the entire book. In good times and bad, all of these things should continually be done to help you to improve your relationship. The first thing, acknowledge. Let them know that you hear and understand what they're saying. This doesn't mean that you agree with them, that you think what they're saying is right or wrong. All you're simply doing is showing them that you are accepting what they're saying just as it is. It may also help to add more to their argument. So, giving them extra points to show them that you truly understand what they're trying to say. So if you're having a discussion, for example, and your spouse tells you you're being mean to the kids, what you shouldn't say is, "I'm not being mean, I'm trying to discipline them." What you're really saying is, you're changing it up, and you're indirectly telling them that what you're saying is wrong and what I'm saying is right. And the reality is what I'm saying, not what you're saying. One option that you can do to help, in a situation like that, when your spouse brings up something to you, is ask them for an example of what they mean. So if your spouse tells you you're being mean to the kids, say, "Okay, I didn't think I was. Can you give an example of when last I was being mean to them?" And I'm sure they'll have an example or two or three of when they feel like you were being mean to them, to the kids, right? So that's one way to acknowledge, or some strategies to acknowledge what your spouse is saying. The second thing is appreciation. Tell your spouse regularly what you appreciate about them. And don't say, "I don't have anything to appreciate about my spouse." You didn't marry your enemy. You married the love of your life. All right? Stop swimming in negative thoughts and think of something your spouse did and tell them that you appreciate that about them. Even if it's as small as putting the dishes away, even though, you do all the dishes all day, every day, and they just did it one time on the weekend. Say, "Hey, thank you for doing that for me. I really appreciate that you were thinking about trying to help me out." Something like that. And find something to appreciate about your spouse. And the third thing, acceptance. Accept your partner as they are. Sometimes when we think about accepting them, we think that nothing will ever change, or they'll just walk all over us. What actually happens when you accept your spouse the way they are is that they will work harder to make you happy, because they know they are loved and they are free to be who they are, and they don't have to worry about you trying to change them. And they're not thinking to themselves, "How can I prevent them from changing me?" And they're not digging in their heels. When you let someone be who they are, and acknowledge them for that, then they feel more free to come along to your side. See, these are the three things that are the foundation. They are acknowledgement, appreciation, and acceptance. So acknowledging what they have to say, finding something to appreciate about them and communicating that to them, and then accepting them as they are. And you're going to have conflicts in your marriage, but doing these three things will help make them easier over time. See you next time. Assalamu alaikum.